Good morning. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. I'm Gabs, one half of Slip Slips This, and this video is another craft with me video. I've done one like this before, but this is my first one this year where I'm frogging a finished object that just doesn't fit, doesn't go with my wardrobe, and reusing the yarn to make it something that I do want to use. So the project that I'm using it's a tank top. It's a racerback tank top by River Row Knits, I think. Forget what the tank top is called, but I'll pop it down below. I knit it out of Destination Yarn, Plumeria, and Honolulu, and I believe the yarn is held double. So I test knit this pattern, and I test knit it in the spring/summer of 2022. I think it was like June of 2022. So I thought I would wear a knit tank top all the time because I really like tank tops, and it's what I would wear all summer. Well, a couple things with the fit. First, the fit of like the length of the tank top hits me in a place that I don't usually wear my tank tops. So it's either just a little too short or a little too long. So it hits in a weird spot. So I needed to knit it longer. But I don't have any more yarn. So I never wore it because it didn't hit me correctly. And I was still, as my family says, reshaping. I was reshaping after I had my second daughter. If you've been watching my vlogs for a bit, you know that I had a pre-diabetes diagnosis, so I made some changes so I could get myself out of that pre-diabetes zone. So that meant my body shape changed as well. So I didn't wear the tank top, and then it became summer, or it became winter, so I didn't wear a tank top in winter time. And then the next summer I go to put it on because I'd done all this reshaping because of the diagnosis, and it's too big. Specifically, like, first it was too big in the underbust, which was weird. Like, it's supposed to have negative ease, but because the way my body decided to lose weight, it lost weight in my upper rib cage. So that was weird. So then that didn't fit. And then, so I didn't wear it that summer, and then it became winter. And then now it's summer again, and I went to put it on again, and the bust is way too big. Like, it's almost like it needs bust darts. I took a video of me wearing it, but yeah, so there's like right here, there's like maybe an inch or two too much fabric, and it dips down too low in the armpit. So the fit's all incorrect, but in my finished object photos, I looked at it and the fit was all right. And I realized when I knit it and I took the measurements from it, I was still breastfeeding my youngest. Well, I know this isn't the case for everybody, but for me, I was an oversupplier. So like a significant oversupplier, and my chest expanded almost 5 inches in circumference. So I'm typically a 37, 38 and a half inch bust, depending on time of month, what's going on in my life, etc. So I sit somewhere there, but the dimensions of my bust, I noted on the pattern, was 42 inches. So, and that was when I measured it right after I pumped instead of right before, because that's a different thing. So it didn't fit, because I measured it because I was like, okay, I'm gonna measure it small because I know I'm a different size. It didn't work out. It doesn't fit. So, and then I haven't worn it because it gapes, doesn't hit me right. I'm not happy with it. I don't think it's the issue. I don't think the issue is the pattern. I think the issue is the time in my life I chose to knit a fitted garment. Because the sweaters I knit around that time that are kind of oversized, not a problem. I also knit a pair of shorts right around that same time, and I'm gonna frog those in another video because they're too big. And I realized that I'm not gonna wear knit shorts. Like, they're too short for what I feel comfortable wearing. Or I don't actually wear short shorts anymore. What's it called? Yeah, I'm running around with my kids a bunch. I sit on the grass and then it gets prickly on my legs. Oh my god. So that's what I'm doing. So I've told you the problems with my tank top, but not the plan. So the plan is to make a backpack. So I'm going to take my knitted tank top and turn it into a two-toned crochet backpack because I really wanted one of those cute Kate Spade backpacks, but I didn't like the opening and I didn't love it, and Kate Spade's a little bit expensive for what I want to spend on a backpack because I'm really hard on my purses and those kind of things. And you're like, but Gabs, you're using indie dyed yarn, so it's probably going to be the same cost. Yes, that's correct. But the indie dyed yarn was a gift, so it feels different. My sister is also making a sweater out of the same yarn, so I might let her borrow the backpack so then she can do a whole matching photo shoot. So it's gonna be a drawstring backpack. It's gonna be similar to a granny square backpack, but not with granny squares because I don't like how the granny squares are so open, which requires you to line the backpack. I think I'm gonna line the backpack anyway, but I don't like the look of how open the granny squares are. I have a vision. So I will take you along, show you what my vision and plan is as I go. But yes, that's my frogging a finished object, which of course is not helping my stash down dirty at all because that yarn wasn't in stash. All right, off I go. I have wings. This doesn't work out. So I would never feel comfortable wearing it because it dips down too low and it hits my pants in a strange place that I don't love either. It's just a little too long or a little too short. So this is destined for something new. Good morning. It's May 31st. It's been a minute since I last checked in, not because I was working on the backpack, but because things have been a little bit hectic. School stuff, new Etsy shop stuff, which is exciting. I've been, if you're new or you didn't know, I opened a Etsy store. So we've been spending my weekends stocking that, which is really awesome. It's really fun. I'm getting to work through a lot of my fabric stash, so that's great. But onto the backpack. I started working on the backpack yesterday. I did two, I guess they're called solid granny squares. They're the ones with like double crochets all the way around, like you would use for a Battenberg. I made two of those, no problem. Then I crocheted like the lip, or I guess the edging, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like I didn't think it through, but I would do increases in the corners. So then the bottom of the bag was all bubbly and not tapering in on an angle like I wanted for the bag. So I pulled that out, fixed the bottom. So now it kind of tapers in. It still bubbles a little bit, but I think it's the stitch that I used because I used a popcorn stitch. Yeah, popcorn stitch on the edging. So I think it's just like it's a bulkier stitch. So the stitch count is right now, but it just pushes it out. Then got the bottom squared away. Then I started to work on the squares. Well, I messed up the squares because I misread the directions. I'm using what do I say? Like a tutorial for a granny square. So I misread the tutorial and ended up with too many stitches for the squares, so they were too bulky, right? So that wasn't working out. So then when I crocheted them together, everything looked like wonky and bulky. I have a picture. It looks like your first clay project, right? Where everything's kind of lumpy. That kind of looks like the shape. So I was like, this isn't gonna work. And I was doing a join as you go method. So pulled it all out. Decided to block the bottom because the bottom was wobbling too. So I blocked the bottom. Oh, I also made the flap, which also took me way longer than I thought it was going to because I kept having to add more and more to it. So blocked the bottom, ripped out the two squares that didn't look right. So now I have no squares, and I'm starting today again with, oops, some more squares. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all the squares, block them, and then I'm going to use a single crochet join, because I think the single crochet join will create like spines on the inside, so it'll create a little bit more bulk and rigidity to it to help the bag stand up. So that's where I am. I'm almost out of pink, so I don't think I have enough pink to yeah, I don't think I have enough pink to do the straps in pink. And I'm not sure if I have enough. It's a blue Honolulu. I don't know if I have enough Honolulu for the straps either, but Shaylee said she had some extra. So, but she's working on her weekender, and I know she hasn't finished it yet because I don't believe she took it when she traveled with her, because it's a sweater. I don't know. So, it's coming along, and then it got tangled. The yarn got tangled because I was fading it with the pink and the blue. It was a whole thing. But as Shaylee says, she's like, you better use this bag a lot, because it's kind of a huge process. But I'm actually liking spending the time making something that I really want, and that it's gonna look nice and the way I want it to look, instead of just trying to rush and finish it and be like, okay, it's done, when it's not perfect. So I'm gonna try again. Goal is to try and get the squares done today and tomorrow, so I kind of want to bring it to Jimmy Bean's Wool and like have a cute little crochet backpack for all my stuff. So that's my goal. I also have to do I-cord, which is like, I don't like I-cord, but I know they have the little like the cord smith and a little I-cord crank, but I don't see the point in having another bulky tool for something I don't do that often and could do on my knitting needles. Like, I don't make I-cords that much, maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. And like the cord smith, it's kind of vicious looking. Like, I'm sure it's lovely, but it's like, I'm gonna definitely stab myself with it at some point when I've got the tool stored somewhere. And the like little crank ones, they just take up so much space. So I just can't justify it. I think I would get the cord smith one if it like collapsed. Like if it was, I don't know, maybe magnets. That's all 3, because it's like 3 hooks. If I could like, if they were magnetized, and then could pull them apart again, so they stored flatter. I don't know. Or maybe if there's a cover, because I know it doesn't come with a cover. So I think kind of like seam rippers come with covers that you could slide over the top. That'd be awesome too. Anyway, I'm off to run. Today is the last day of May miles. I wanted to go 50 miles in the month of May, but I'm at 46.04, and I don't have time to run 4 miles today. And I can't run in the afternoon because it's going to be 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is too hot for running. Okay, talk to you later. All right, different time of day. It's 6:15 at night. I have a plan to work out twice a day to try and get my half marathon training done. And in summer is basically the only time that I really have to make this kind of thing happen. So that's what I'm gonna do. Update on the bag. I have made 8 of the 12 granny squares I need to make. It's going along much better. I thought I was going to run out of yarn, but I'm not. So it's going pretty well, and I'm liking it so far. Hopefully it looks good when I put it all together, because I won't know until it's all together if it was nice or not, if it turned out nice or not. So I don't know. So hopefully I'm going to finish it tonight. I've got a couple things for Cozy, the Etsy store, to make. I went to Joann to buy a bunch more fabric, because everything was in the remnants and doing super great. So there's that. But I think that's about it. I'm going to do a 30-minute run for the start of marathon training. So I will see you all tomorrow morning for a run. All right, I think I finished 9 squares of said backpack check-in. So I haven't been wringing them out super well for blocking, so it's taking them a long time to dry, but I still have 3 more left to do. So hopefully I shall finish them today and then attach them, which is really the moment of truth. And I'm realizing I have a lot more to do on the backpack than I think I do, because it's like when you knit a sweater, right? Like when I knit the sweater, I'm like, I've knit the body. Sweater is almost done. But really the sleeves are a lot of portion of the body. So on this backpack, I still have 3 more squares. I have to join them all. I have to do the edging on the top, make the drawstrings and the straps, and sew everything together. So I'd say maybe halfway through, maybe a little bit less than halfway done. But the squares still seem to be, or feel like the biggest portion of it. So we'll see how that goes. I thought I was gonna run out of yarn and have to borrow some from my sisters, but I think it's gonna be all right. So I think I'm going to finish the squares, then make the straps, then join with my leftover pink first, because it's on the inside and you can't see it, and then do the top and the eyelet and the drawstring, I guess. Maybe I should do the drawstring when I do the straps, so I have enough of that visible yarn. I don't know, it's very tight. The yarn is still bleeding, which is actually pretty annoying, but the Honolulu colorway I know bleeds a lot, and which I don't know, like, I know nothing about dyeing truly, but I know some people on like Reddit or whatever, like, oh, it's normal, blue's a hard color to exhaust. But here's my thought on this one. I have Honolulu socks from the same colorway. Chaylene knit it for me. I've washed them a bunch of times and the colorway is completely different, so it leads me to believe that the blue isn't set. Like, the blue is fading every time I wash it. It's not just like loose pigment that the yarn didn't absorb. It's like the yarn's not set at all, because it keeps washing out and keeps lightening every time I wash it, which I'm sure there's some way to set it, but I don't really want to go through all that because I'm not a dyer, right? And I don't want to be a dyer. So it's fine. It's kind of annoying though, because I'm prepared that this is going to look pretty washed out by the time I'm done. Thankfully it's a backpack, so I won't wash it nearly as much as I wash a pair of socks, which is also, I think, part of the reason why I wanted to change it from a shirt to or a tank top to a backpack. Also, I did a fade from like the blue Honolulu color into the pink, and it's like, now that I'm pulling it apart, it's super clear that the blue has transferred onto the pink. So the pink is like a muddier purple, which is fine. I kind of like the color. It gives this like washed out watercolor look, but if that's not what I wanted, that would not be great. So I'm not super pleased about the level that it's bleeding out, but what can you do about it? So today and tomorrow, hopefully I'm going to finish it, because I want to bring it to Jimmy Bean's Wool, which I leave for my parents' house on Tuesday, because I fly out very early Wednesday morning. Not nearly as early as my sister. My sister's going to be at the airport at like 4. She flies from LA to Oakland to get me, and then our Oakland flight's at like 8:45. So I have to be at the airport probably at like 7, which is not bad. Dad's going to take me, I think. And then Jimmy Beans. All right. Anyway, I'm off to run. I've procrastinated enough. Okay, I have officially run out of Honolulu for the bag, which is fine. I am sewing in some pink that matches the plumeria. So this bag has turned into kind of epic yarn chicken, and it's also turning out to be a lot more pieces than I thought it was, and I'm kind of over it. It's a lot of assembly. It feels like an amigurumi, which reminds me why I don't usually make bags, because it's just a lot of assembly. So I have finished all the squares. I started joining the top row. I finished all of the like little tiny bits, like I have the drawstring done, the straps done, the little loops, the handle, flap. So all I'm doing is like assembling and attaching, which hopefully I can finish today, because then I have to sew the lining for the bag as well. So we'll see how that goes, because I have to like whip stitch that in by hand, because you don't want to like sew through the other side of the bag, so you got to catch the back end of the fabric. So hopefully I can finish that soon. I got so much yarn from the Jimmy Beans wool retreat. It's bananas. Like, I think I tracked my stash and it jumped at least 20 skeins, and that's not including the stuff that Shaylee and I already planned to give away. And yeah, it's a lot. So, oh, and I lost my red ball of yarn. I think it fell out of my bag when it tipped over one night at bingo. So I'm sewing in a new ball of yarn that's also red, but that also means that red counts as out of my stash because it's lost forever. Because I need to make the second sock of the M-Cow, but that's all right. It happens. I think it just rolled out of my bag and I didn't notice that it had tipped out of my bag, but that's okay. So hopefully this bag is done today, because I really wanted to bring it to Jimmy Beans, but that obviously didn't happen. So it's just a lot of finishing, and finishing is not really my favorite, which is why I don't make a lot of amigurumi or bags by knit or crochet, because finishing just takes a while, but it feels like I'm on a hamster wheel and you get nowhere fast. So there's that. I have 5 whips, which I was really trying to avoid doing, but it's because I had to cast on for the M-Cow. So I finished sock 1 and sock 1 of both versions of the M-Cow, and I started a new project that I'm super obsessed with. It's Dawn Barker's assigned pooling technique. Whew, I love that. I love it so much. It's crazy. I've seen assigned pooling on like the internet, on Instagram, on YouTube, but until you do it, oh man, I've drank the Kool-Aid on this one. I love it so much. It's a really fun process to do it, and it creates a really beautiful fabric, which otherwise would look kind of muddy because of how variegated flash is. So I think what makes me happy is variegated skeins tend to look beautiful in the skein, and then you're rolling the dice on how it looks knit up or crocheted up. So this technique so far has kept the beauty of the skein while you're knitting. I'm even knitting this in single ply, and I really like it, because for our long time watchers, you know that I do not like single ply, neither does Shaylee. So, but I'm knitting this whole thing in single ply, and I'm not complaining or mad about it at all. Yes, I did modify her Super Bloom pattern. I'll put the notes on Ravelry page as much as I can, but I don't want to, like, it is a paid for pattern. So, but I highly recommend assigned pooling if you haven't tried it. It's very fun, and I believe Dawn Barker's patterns seem to be the most comprehensive. I think there might be others out there, but truly, she's like the go-to lady for this. So, to that, I'm going to hopefully check in with you soon, because I will have finished my bag. I finished the backpack yesterday. It took so long to do all of the finishing. It came out super cute. Actually, the crocheting bit, not hard at all. Stitched that up just fine. I totally ran out of like epic amounts of yarn, but it was fine. Putting on the hardware, also fine. It was sewing the bag lining. I sewed that bag lining 3 times to make it work. It was very annoying. First I followed the instructions in the pattern. The lining was like way too small. It didn't work out at all. Then I followed the measurements of the squares, which worked out better, but still not super great. And then I finally just like laid the bag down on the fabric and then just cut around it because it wasn't working any other way. So now I have all these random linings of bags that aren't really usable. So I may just cut them apart and use them for stuff in the shop. So there's that. But I finished it. I really like it. I think it's gonna be like a pool bag or something like that. I don't think it's sturdy enough for like a purse every day, and it doesn't have a bunch of pockets. So I don't think it's gonna be my pocket purse, but you never know. I really liked it. I will not be writing the pattern because I had to make so many adjustments and it was so fiddly. So it is what it is. But today is Tuesday, June 11th, I think. I think I've caught the cold that my daughter's had, which is not surprising because she usually catches the cold. So I'm gonna take it easy, update the shop a little bit. I've got a bunch of fabric. I'm really trying this to be the summer of stashing down, which, based on if you've seen our Jimmy Bean's wool retreat, it's not going that great. I still have over 400 skeins of yarn. I was really great. I was almost below 350 back in March, and then April, May, and June, it's just like whoosh. So I'm still not over the number that I started 2023 with, but it's still quite high. So I don't know. I think my goal for 2024 would be to be under 300. Yeah, I think that's the goal, but I don't have any plans to get any more yarn for the rest. Basically, I've got no Mother's Day, no birthday, no any kind of gift day, so I'm not planning on really getting more yarn probably until Christmas time. So I've got about a solid 6 months to get it together, and I only have one design call out right now. I'm not feeling the urge to want to design right now, so I'm not. But yes, that's where I am. I think the next video series for me is the 15 fabrics in 15 days. So what that is I'm gonna sew one fabric every single day, and then that fabric will go up in my Etsy shop, and that fabric will be on sale for 50% off the finished product. Will be for sale for 15% off for until the end of the video series. So the day 1 fabric will obviously be on sale for much longer than the day 15 fabric, but I can't manage. Maybe I can manage the 15 days. I don't know, we'll see what preferences I can do on Etsy. But yeah, so I think that's what's coming up next. My plan is actually to start it maybe tomorrow. If I can get it organized enough, maybe tomorrow. Definitely not today. I still have sewing for my sister for her birthday to be due, and that's what I want to do first. And they've got a bunch of other like random ends of fabric that I'm doing. So subscribe if you want to watch me sew a bunch of fabric. I don't think for knitting I have any more. I've got a couple projects and that kind of thing, but our next knitting related thing is our podcast, probably coming this weekend. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us.